Hey everyone, I have a really special guest today with me. It's Jordan Samuels.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, I mean, it's such a pleasure to have you here. For those of you who are not familiar with Jordan, a little bit about his background. You're a former principal dancer.
Former professional ballet dancer, yes.
In another life ago, and then turned esthetician.
Yep.
And now he has his own skincare brand that's an amazing, simple, good for everyone, no matter what. If you have skin, it's good for you type of skincare brand.
Yes, absolutely. That's the perfect way to put it.
He's a skincare expert, and what Jordan is going to really help us understand today is how to assess our skin, which is so important because a lot of you don't even know what skin type you have or how to determine what skin type you have, right?
Completely. And it is so important, like you said. We basically should look at it that we have skin. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of skin types. Many professionals in the industry aren't. It's about conditions, but we are put into these types. And so people will be on a program for oily skin, for combination skin, for dry skin. And that might be appropriate for 1 week of time. Mm-hmm. But skin is changing every single year, obviously, but every single month and every single day. And even from the time we get up in the morning to the time we go to bed at night, the skin is changing. Are you in dry office air? Are you traveling on a plane? Are you going from this humid New York weather to the desert? And then all of a sudden you have two different needs. We are reacting 100% of the time to the environment. And again, that can be, and then you add in air conditioning, heat. Even if you happen to be wearing a wool scarf or something and have a reaction around your, I'm going like advanced but
that's real though.
Yeah,
it's real.
And your skin is going to have a reaction to it, and whether it's dryness or irritation or redness. My whole philosophy is choreograph your own skincare routine, and I mean that not play with it, have fun, but also, and we'll get into this, but wake up in the morning. Really look at your skin. It doesn't have to be more than 30 seconds. You're not taking 20 minutes out of your day to study your skin, but feel it. Just be in touch with yourself. Be in the mirror and looking, feeling, and go from there and guide your routine from there.
Yeah, that's so important again because it's about, I like to call it skin tuition. It's something that has to be developed over time.
And the first thing that I sort of wanted to start talking about, because I think it's the biggest one, and at least it's the biggest one in terms of clients who come into me, is irritation, sensitivities, inflammation. Mm-hmm. And that comes from our use of actives now, which are important and great and needed. But sometimes we can't do them all the time, we're doing them too much, or they're snuck into other products and we don't realize that we're using them in cleansers and masks.
Yes, and they're layered. We're actually layered, yeah.
The skin should always feel comfortable. It might be dry to the touch, but it should feel, even if, I was using that as an example, dryness, but it should feel comfortable. Oiliness, you shouldn't feel hot, you shouldn't feel red, you shouldn't feel inflamed. Of course, there are conditions like rosacea where that's an inherent condition, obviously. We're talking just skin in general. Feeling heat, seeing heat, feeling
tight even?
Yeah, almost like you want to itch. There's many layers to that, but that's the first step, because then that, to me, is then the easiest place to go, circle back to whether it's retinols the night before, acids the night before, a vitamin C the night before. That list can go on and on, of course, but really start there. It's the easiest place to go. I can get very sensitive, and for this trip, I've been getting my skin ready and doing lots of acids, which is, again, that sounds so funny to me. I've been doing lots of acids. But my skin can only take so much, and there was a point I woke up and I'm like, oh, I felt it, I felt the heat. I saw a little bit of the redness, but I felt the heat, and then I went back and said, we're going back to basics. Tonight we're doing hydrate and the oil, or
soothing, comforting.
Totally, and avoiding the active. So then moving on from that which I think, I'm going to say 100% because it really is, and it might be 99.9, but it's dehydration.
Oh gosh, yes.
Right? It's very easy to see, and just like heat and redness in the skin, you can feel and you can see. Dehydration, if you really tap in, I always have people, you can have it anywhere, but you're primarily going to see it easier on the forehead.
Around here?
Yeah, and you can lightly push up on the skin if you start seeing those fine lines that don't need to be there. Narita Joy always says that. It is a lack of water in the skin, which really, again, is hard. It goes back to the whole first point of this conversation, which is change in environment, air conditioning, heat,
Diet even.
diet,
Yeah, alcohol.
too hard. Things like too harsh of a cleanser. Even there is too much of a good thing, which is too much acid. It's wonderful. It removes the dead cell. It clears the pore. It helps stimulate those fibroblast cells to help with collagen and elastin production. But it is also removing dead cells. So it is breaking down the barrier slightly, especially if you overdo it, which allows for transepidermal water loss most of the time. And then you're left with that dehydration and then even the irritation too. So it's an easy one and it's a very common one. So I would expect that a lot of people would get up, take a look at their skin and realize like, oh, it might be dehydrated. But with that being said too, the thing is, it's not always a product issue. So when you're seeing that dehydration, yes, you might go the route of, oh, that cleanser stripped me or dried me out last night, or maybe I did too much acid. But pay attention to your environment. Is your bedroom dry? That is my number one tip, especially as we get into fall and winter, is having a humidifier in the bedroom. Yes, they can be a pain to clean, but if your environment is bone dry, your skincare can only do so much.
Yeah.
Water temperature too. If the water's too hot,
That's a huge thing though.
it strips the oils, it's going to affect the barrier, it's going to create more dehydration. So it doesn't just stop at skincare. You do have to sort of do a holistic look at everything. So then moving on to the third topic, for me it would be oiliness, because I think over lubrication of skin. So when I say oiliness, I do not mean an oily skin type. This is if maybe like you're doing an overnourishing routine or you're using too many steps or too many products, oil can like attract like dust and dirt and grime, and it traps things in, and it's so you don't want that. So that's another thing, and that one is fairly self-explanatory and straightforward and easy, which is getting up, you'll have a little bit of a sheen, your skin might feel, a slight oiliness, totally normal.
I love it.
Yes.
Slight oiliness.
Yeah, that's like that's sort of like the perfect I did good.
Yeah.
But if you're waking up and it's just a lot and you feel like you can't wait to wash or cleanse your face, you're probably layering too much the night before, or you're using something that's either too heavy for you or too occlusive.
Okay.
And you might need lighter hydrating layers, so humectants, think aloe, glycerin, hyaluronic acid, sodium hyaluronate, sodium PCA, light watery gel creams, less shea butter, less mango butter, less oils.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but just sort of to start, especially if this keeps happening and you're not using that many products, maybe just make it a little bit more humectant rich instead of more occlusive and emollient rich. Just side note on oils and this discussion too, is that people with facial oils like to use the same amount they do as a cream. And that's too much. Like, it's too much. And you really only need a few.
Lot.
It's a lot. It's when you think about it. But I've seen people before and asked clients before, like, show me how much you use. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That was me when I started. No, but I was like, ooh.
Yes, and then people don't like it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you're using something like a grapeseed oil on an oily skin and you're using the correct amount, it should like absorb in and be gone. If you immediately feel like it's too oily after putting on a facial oil, you were probably using too much.
Okay. So what about for combination skin?
So with combination skin, which honestly at the end of the day, I almost want to say that everybody has it, because it goes back to my first point of there's really no skin types.
Yeah.
But obviously there's the oilier parts of the face. It's just most people have larger pores there. Most people, even if you're dry, have still active oil content through the T-zone. So chances are that'll be the case. You might be a little bit drier as you go further out. But with that being said, treat those, which I know this isn't necessarily popular because people like to put the products in their hands and put everything and massage it in, and I understand that feels good. But if you are very, very defined of dry spots and oily spots, treat those ecosystems separately. Okay. So put nourishing products on the drier spots, do a little bit more hydration on the oilier spots, and the humectants and aloe and hyaluronic acid, but really treat them differently.
Well, I think the upside for hydration is that you can put on your entire face. Your entire face will probably need hydration.
If your skin is truly combination, you're sort of right in between both, like oiliness, dryness, then yeah, I really would want people to look for humectants because that can sort of take care of most of that then. So again, we'll go back to the hyaluronic acid, the glycerin, the aloe, sodium PCA, just beautiful ingredients. And you could even layer a few to get that water and that hydration into the skin. A little bit less on occlusives just to make sure the oily parts are still okay. But that's the perfect, and really the easiest way probably is to go more layers of light water-based humectant-rich hydration.
Yes, I mean, definitely am a big believer in layering. Hydration.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
It changed everything.
And again, back to, we're all so dehydrated. We are topically dehydrated. Having that freedom to really be able to be in touch with your skin, look at it in the mirror, and see what's going on each morning, then allows you to truly be the creator. And it's freedom, it's fun, it doesn't become mundane or monotonous, and you can really truly get back to having fun with your skincare and not worrying too much and not being tied down to all these rules and regulations and all these other things which really don't exist anyway, and that are self-imposed in a way, or self-imposed from over-educating via online. And so it's, but just really like take the time, just like I said in the beginning, we need to, I think, all just get back to ourselves and be in touch with ourselves and look in the mirror, and it'll give you so much freedom with your skincare, and it'll be way more fun.
At the end of the day, just listen to your skin, get to know it and just see what it reacts well to, what it doesn't, what it really loves. I hope you enjoyed this and learned as much from this as I did. I love talking to you, Jordan.
Oh,
it's just like
Renee,
so much, it can actually go on for hours.
I know, exactly.
And until next time, we're wishing you great skin health.